Welcome to the Path to Purpose interview show, where we share our unique and universal stories about finding and fulfilling our purpose. My name is Katja, and I'm your host and mentor for purpose-driven entrepreneurs. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to purpose. Today, I have a pleasure to interview Fiset, who is a best-selling author and founder of JVology, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit. He is dedicated to facilitating great business relationships and supporting people to organize their life and resources around their passions and gifts. So let's find more about his path, and I will also ask his best tips how to find JV partners. So let's
Awesome.
get started here. So welcome, Jay. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Katja. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be fun.
Sure. And I would love to know a little bit more about you and also share where you're located so we can put you on the map.
So I'm in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm traditionally, I come from Saskatchewan. I'm a Saskatchewan farm kid. So sort of rural roots, which means I speak frankly, I work hard, and relationships are important. And that has carried forward from, the moment of birth to today and beyond.
And thank you for sharing that. It's because we have known now for a few years, and I look forward to asking this next question because I'm not sure if I have heard the answer. I know you
Okay.
talk about many things, and this I'm not sure if I've heard. Like, was there a special event that led you to this path? Because you are now all about joint venturing and helping others on that field. What was your own inspiration to start joint ventures?
Okay, this one is a bit of a long answer. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm going to frame it personally, because had you asked me, say, even 3.5 years ago, would we be in the space of joint ventures, I would have said, over my dead body. That makes no sense. No way. So this has been a kind of a beautiful evolution of purpose in terms of this entire process. So I actually own and operate three businesses that are that still coexist today. JVology, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit, is our primary vehicle, and we're in the midst of developing a software platform that's going to make that probably. I say this and then I question. I was going to say probably my last, big business venture, but I'm young-ish and healthy-ish, so I'll probably be around for a long time. Anyway, so here's the truth of it, is that I actually, in those three businesses, there is one golden thread, and that golden thread is that we help entrepreneurs build conscious communities of choice. And in my personal development company, something that we call the Creator's Code, which is really where all of my grounding around passion and purpose and alignment come from. We've done that for quite literally over 30 years. That turned into our first online home run, so to speak. And that online home run was a brand called Mastermind to Millions. And how that happened was we started mastermind groups to serve and support people in the personal development space to grow into the transformation, the evolution that they created in a 5-day course, but then they'd go back to their life, the life they designed with the beliefs they had prior to that transformation, and the gravity of that life would often pull them back. So we created mastermind groups to support them in that transformation. And we did that quite literally for a quarter century before we ever made those courses, trainings, and support processes public. But when we did, it exploded online. And the story, which I think you probably have heard, is that we went from zero, a brand that didn't exist, to 2.6 million US in sales in 14 months. Honest to goodness, almost accidentally. I wish I could say it was this huge, great, plan and all the rest. It was just like, it was this little thing that we did for 25 years that people could use some help with, and it just took off. Mm-hmm. And then the next step, which is the core of your question, how the heck did we land in joint ventures? We sort of just had this entire lineup of people who came and said, it's like, how did you do that? We've been struggling online for ages. Like, what's the secret? What happened? What did you do? And the answer was like, well, it seems pretty simple and straightforward. I thought everybody did this. Is like, we built relationships and partnerships, and we grew this entire process through strategic joint venturing with great people that we know, like, and trust. And they're like, wow, how does that work? And it's like, well, What do you mean? How does that work? I thought everybody knew. And then that gave birth to something that we called the JVology Summit, which was an invite-only premium program, which our next one is coming up in Cabo San Lucas. Here's February 21st. And that then demand of people trying to get into that particular high-level group was such that I was always saying no to people. It's like, no, you're not quite ready. No, you're a great person, but you don't have the systems in place. No. And then that gave birth to the foundational training programs, which is the Joint Venture Success System, our JVology Live program, things like our 5-day challenge, which is coming up. And it really was just this responding to the demand and the questions of people in the marketplace. And the key piece here, though, is that I would only respond in that manner is if it was true to the thread, which is all entrepreneurs who choose to use joint ventures, they are creating conscious communities of choice. The people that you want to serve, the people that you want to build businesses with, the people that you want to help thrive and win, the people that you want to actually build what we have come to call an entrepreneurial safety network. So the golden thread is the same. The mechanic is just a little different. That was a long answer. I'll breathe now.
Yeah, before this interview, we shared like, Jay talks fast, so we can get a lot of golden nuggets here. Short time we spent together. And another question, because for somebody who might be like, well, what is actually JV? Like maybe it's the first time they hear about it, or they have heard about it before, but not really knowing what does that mean. What's your definition for JV?
Great question. And I have a very simple definition for it. It is when two or more people or organizations come together and they strategically blend their network, their influence, their resources, all of those pieces together to come to a way to serve their clients better. So that could be a co-promotion. That could be a support on a book launch. That could be the distribution of a digital program. That could be sharing traffic between a restaurant and a movie theater. It can look a million different ways. And just for a little more meat to that, we sort of divide them into three categories. There's affiliate marketing, which requires no relationship. You get a link, you send it off, you write a blog, you put it in the bottom of your email, some version thereof. Simple, easy, transactional. If somebody clicks the button, they send you some money, you can buy Starbucks. And just to be clear, but there are people that make millions of dollars but they've got a machine going on. Most of us are going to buy Starbucks. Then there is this middle category, which we actually call joint ventures. And those are projects that have a beginning, a middle, and end, whereby somebody might be bringing something new to the marketplace. They might have an event, they might have the release of a YouTube channel. They might have something where we collaborate, and there's a beginning, which is we agree to work together. There's a middle where we co-promote and do all those pieces. And then there's an end when there's a transaction in some way, shape, or form. We split the proceeds in a way that reflects what we brought to the table. And if we really like that, we'll keep doing it. And if we don't like that in terms of how it went, we'll just wash our hands of it and move on. There's no big legal structure. There's no big mechanical structure. We don't need to start a corporation. It's just a shared project. And then the third part we call strategic partnerships, which is after you've done a couple of projects with somebody, it's like, hey, we have our client flow is the same. We like working together. We have similar values. We can totally serve and support one another. Then strategic partnerships are where we go as far as to like embed some of our content or some of our processes in each other's businesses. So there's a steady stream of perfectly qualified leads that comes out to be a win-win-win, a win for the client, a win for our partners, and a win for us. And that is exactly what JVology teaches in our live events, in our digital programs, in our 5-day challenge. And that is, it requires for most people who think, many times in the digital space, they're like, oh, joint ventures, that's where you send an email. It's like, that wouldn't be 1% of what joint ventures are when you begin to truly understand what the model is and how it might apply to you and any particular individual partner. But it takes understanding your business, understanding their businesses, understanding what the client's needs are, and designing and developing a process that works.
Thank you. And then you actually answered my next question, which what makes a good JV partner? Like, it's understanding the process. Is there anything else you would like to add there? What makes a good JV partner? One thing, understand how it works.
I love that question, but I'll tell you the number one reason. Actually, do we have time for a silly story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You
so this JVology Summit. So this was this very intimate, high-end, invite-only foundation that became JVology. we used to have this whole application process, okay? And it's like, so, what's your experience? What's your this? What's your that? And all the rest of it. And just to be clear about this, that application process, we took really, really seriously. And as it went on a couple of years, I would have people call and say, it's like, okay, so I want to refer my friend Brad. I'm not sure he's 100% ready, but he's a good guy. So what are you looking for exactly? Like, how big does the list have to be? So there was all these parameters. And here's really the number one thing that makes a great JV partner, assuming they have their technology and their offer in place. So it's a real business. We're not talking about somebody who's like, I wonder what I should do. They have a real business. The number one piece after that is, are they a good human being and do I like them? And honestly, that entire interview that we went through, and I finally just started telling people the truth about it. It's like, look, on the assumption that you've got the mechanical things done, I want to know if I'd have you to my house, drink a glass of wine and play ping pong. And if I would have you to my house, drink a glass of wine and play ping pong, it's all good. And if I wouldn't, no amount of business acumen and tech and none of that shit matters at all to me. So shared values and being a good human being is the number one piece. The next piece after that, this overlaps a little bit, is having an abundance mindset. People cannot succeed in joint ventures without believing that there's more than enough, that there's an abundance of leads, there's abundance of time, there's abundance of money, there's abundance of resources, there's abundance of ways to figure things out. And JVs sometimes go wrong. Like, you can count on that. It's like, because there's these crazy things involved in the JVs called human beings. So you want to know that when there's a misunderstanding, when a result doesn't occur, when something goes awry, that you can just pick up the phone and have a honest, straightforward conversation grounded in fairness and equity that will carry that relationship forward. So those are, to me, the number one most important things. You got to have your ducks in a row. You got to be JV ready. You have to have swipe copy. You have to have systems for tracking. You have to do all those sorts of things. But that's the mechanical stuff. Who you are as a human being, how you show up for your clients, how you deal with conflict, how you deal with misunderstandings. Those are the biggies.
And one of the things, because I know you have been doing this successfully for years, and you are teaching others now how to do it. And I've been learning from you a lot, and so grateful for that. So what has been one of your biggest learnings when it comes to JVs, like, as you have done it so long? So what would you say is your biggest learning?
Oh man, that's a really good question. And we stumbled upon this. And I think one of the key pieces, and it's one of our core values of our community. So JVology believes that a joint venture is a game of I'll go first. And I think that the key to this is, I think most people struggle and fail in trying to get really great JV partners because they are looking at it from the perspective of, what can the partner do for me? And the honest to goodness truth is, a joint venture is a game of I'll go first, which means that I will contribute first. I will step up first. I will create value first. And by the way, this holds true for your partners. This holds true for even the giveaways. So I'm willing to bet most of you listening have a lead magnet, have a ethical bribe for somebody to opt in on those sorts of things. One of the things I would ask you to consider is that lead magnet enough value? Is it a 10-point checklist? Is it something that has some depth and meaning? And the honest to goodness truth is, most of us should spend more time giving our best stuff away upfront for free. Because the truth of the matter is, there's a sea of meh and crap out there. And if you want to be really, truly seen as somebody who gives first, creates value first, all those sorts of things, it should be in the relationship with your partners. It should be in what you're asking them to share with their tribe. Like this, just as an example, this 5-day challenge. I have had a multitude of people say to me, out of all the 5-day challenges I've ever done, this is the most valuable. It delivered to me, and we call it the JV Jumpstart, 5 partners in 5 days. It delivered to me, number one, I think the most was 36 partners somebody got, but let's just say it delivered to me 5 partners. Of those 5 partners, 2 of them actually did something, and I generated tens of thousands of dollars. Like, that's not bad for a free challenge. Lots of people's paid programs don't generate $10,000. So when you're thinking about what that contribution is, like, deliver the A game. Like, that's a really big thing.
That is, and thank you for that. Was so many golden nuggets there for people to pick on. So you might want to listen to it again because it's really good stuff. And you mentioned this upcoming challenge. So who is it for? Like
It's a great question.
what do you need to have in place in order to make most out of the challenge?
Well, here's the honest goodness truth is you don't have to have anything in place. Quite literally, the challenge is if you're sitting at home and building a business and posing the question that almost all entrepreneurs are posing, which is some version of, how do I get more leads that are better qualified, that cost less money? I mean, that is a little bit of the entrepreneurial battle cry to some degree, right? I just need more people to talk to. They need to be the right people to talk to. And ideally, it doesn't cost me my left arm. So if you're having any of those thoughts, which you should be, even if you're not, if you're having any of those thoughts, you should do the challenge, because what the challenge does in 5 short days, and it's simple, by the way, this is not one of those make work projects. You're going to watch a video that's like 7 to 9 minutes long. I think the first day is a little bit longer in terms of setting context. And then you're going to go do a little activity. Then you're going to come to our Facebook group and have a little chat about it. Okay. That's the deal. You could do it in 20 minutes a day. We will take you from the beginning of what you must believe to how you must set up your business, to identifying your ideal partners and how you talk to them. By the way, to introducing you to several hundred ideal partners who are also looking for partners. That is a little bit of the delivery. To getting agreement from those partners, and to now working on what does it take to actually do the projects together. And we step you through what you should do. We hold your hand how you should do it. And quite frankly, we deliver to you the partners that you need to execute it. So you can start from absolutely, what the heck is a joint venture and should I do it, and create a ton of value. But I tell you what, if you're like Katja and if you're like a bunch of people in our community and everything is set up, you should still do the challenge, because you'll be able to refine some of those elements that you've heard before and you understand that you've got set up in your business. But you get to quite literally have hundreds of partners served to you on a silver platter, so you can select who are your best upstream partners, which, by the way, you'll learn what that means in the challenge, and your best downstream partners. So you can begin to what we call top grade, which is always put the best people for where I'm at in my business, for what the promise of this particular product, service, or experience is, put the best people in place to make the whole entrepreneurial journey 1,000 times easier.
Yes, and I will definitely join the challenge. I have done it in the past and it is amazing. And like the context and connection and learning you do, it just has been so supportive for my business. So I highly, highly recommend this for you as well. And you will find the link on the comments below. So click that and join, because those 5 days can just change the course of your business. And you can make connections that last for, well, almost want to say lifetime, because it is, I have found friends, like it's developed more, like just having first the conversation, and then it has just built up the friendship level. Yes. Even.
Well, and honest goodness, that's really what happens here. I mean, and I don't want to oversell it, but here's the honest goodness truth. If you show up, have you ever heard of a woman named Dr. Cherie Carter Scott?
I haven't. Bible.
She,
yeah.
Pretty prolific author, was pretty active in the personal development and transformation space. I'm going to call it like 80s, 90s, let's maybe 90s, dating myself. But she wrote a book, Love is a Game of I'll Go First. And I actually interviewed her for a television series that I hosted and produced decades ago. And that phrase never left me. And the truth is, if love is a game of I'll go first, that really boils down to like all relationships are a game of I'll go first, which is where that grounding for JVology came from. But you are not alone in that. We build, when I say conscious communities of choice, that's friendship, that's tribe, that is that those close relationships that we know we can count on in the good, the bad, and the otherwise. And I don't want to rattle, I'm a Canadian, but let's be clear about this. There's some interesting things going on in the world, particularly ever so slightly south of us, that is going to be interesting. And gang, if you haven't already thought this through, what you require is a tribe of people who get you, who get what you do, who understand business, who are going to help us navigate the oddities that are going to be coming our way in the next few years, because there are going to be some oddities. And now is the time to build the foundation of friendship, of trust, of resources, of network that will carry us through those pieces. And, as clear as I can say this, now is the time to do it, not 18 months from now when shit's hitting the fan. I don't know. I was trying to come up with a polite way of saying that. I couldn't, but
there we go. And it is true, like really building your tribe, and this will support you. So check the link below and join us. And thank you so much for your time, Jay. I know we have covered a lot in such a short time. And I just want to ask, do you have a special message that you would like to share to the end to close this interview?
Yes, and I appreciate that question. I think it's this. I love entrepreneurs, like love entrepreneurs. And I love them because of their courage. I love them because of their willingness to make their own way in the world. I love them for their capacity to throw their hat in the ring to create something that did not exist before. And, I just, they're my people. Like I truly genuinely love entrepreneurs. But the honest to God truth is most of us as entrepreneurs make our process 10 to 100 times more challenging and difficult than it needs to be. Because embedded in our courage and embedded in our independence is something that I believe is true, which is for most of us, our greatest weakness is nothing more than our strength turned up too loud. And what that means for entrepreneurs is that independent streak of I will figure it out on my own. I can do it on my own. I can navigate my way through this. It's costing you time. It's costing you money. It's costing you life. It's costing you your relationship with your kids. It's costing you your relationship with your spouse. And if there is nothing else that happens for you as we head into these interesting times, my wish, my prayer, my invitation is that you don't do it alone. And the whole purpose of joint ventures, the whole purpose of JVology, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit in that order, the whole purpose of that is to help entrepreneurs stop making it so hard, stop doing it on their own, and enjoy the process of entrepreneurship with other like-minded souls. So if that resonates with you and you know it's time to stop making it so damn hard, do the challenge, check us out, get those results, and then come play with us in the community. That's it.
That's it. And thank you for the invitation. And you will find the link below to join. And thank you so much, Jay, for your time. And thank you for watching Path of Purpose interview show. I am excited to see you in the challenge. And if you have takeaways from this interview, please do add them on the comments below. So thank you, Jay. And
my pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.